amazing, God. You are amazing, God. Oh, you are amazing, God. Sing it out tonight. I'm tasted of your glory. Oh, tasted of your mercy, amazing God. Your mercies are ever new. I'm tasted, oh, tasted of your glory. Yes, Jesus. Lift up your voice tonight and sing. I've tasted, oh, yeah, amazing King, that's who you are. Forever and ever, you never change. Oh, amazing God, and you are over and over and over again. Oh, lift up your voice and sing. You are amazing. Oh, you are amazing God. Hey, you are amazing God. Oh, for you are healer, gentle redeemer. You are amazing God. And you are Jesus, awesome in power. You are amazing God. Sing it out. You are. And you are Jesus,
Awesome in power, you are amazing God.
and you are healer.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. God bless you. Welcome to Daily Prayer for our children. Good to see you wherever it is that you're joining us from across the globe. I'd like to welcome you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's a brand new week. It's a brand new day for some people in the Far East Asia because they are already into Tuesday, while my Monday is not yet over. And some of you, you're very much in the afternoon. So Who are we? We are a group of moms, dad, aunties, uncles, grandparents, custodians of the heritage of God that gathers together Monday to Friday to declare the word of God into the lives of our children. And occasionally we have experts in the house. Like today, my sister is here and she's going to be taking us through, what could I call it? Some very essential, necessary skills that many of us should have had under our belt, preferably before we even had children. But like she always says, it's never too late. It's never too late. We can still learn as long as we're willing to learn. And that's the reason why she has graciously accepted to come and help us out. She's not saying we're terrible and she's not saying we are not doing a good job, but there's always room for improvement if we want to improve. None of us are perfect, and if there's anything as a child of God you're learning every day, you should be striving to improve every day, and that includes being a parent as well. So I think by now all of you already know who I'm talking about, and that's Sister Folakemi Adedeji Ikuyinminu. Finally, I got it without hesitation. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Honestly, if you know how I struggled at the beginning, you will know that I really struggled. Thank God for my boss. Okay, so we're here. We've done the first part, and we're about to jump in to the second part. So if by any chance you didn't get to see the previous ones, then I'm going to encourage you by all means to please either go to her page on YouTube, because I believe she's been uploading them onto her page. So you can go to her page on YouTube. Let me just display this. Bishop, are you laughing at me that I practiced and I got it right? My own sister laughing at me. Okay, I won't cry, don't worry. But you should be hailing me that I nailed it. I got there. Hallelujah. So, yes, as I was saying, if you want to see all the previous episodes or series, whatever you want to call it, that Sister Folakemi has done with us, like I said, you can go to her page. I just want to display where you can connect with Sister Folakemi. So there it is on your screen. You can connect with her on Facebook. You can connect with her on Instagram. Conveniently, I forgot to put YouTube, but now I'm telling you about YouTube. Okay, so she will tell you about YouTube as well when she comes, and I know why, because I tried to access it a few times and I just didn't get through, but she will tell us about it when she comes. I think she has got it loaded there. But either way, like I've said, everybody on this platform, I've always opened a playlist for them on PCC on our YouTube channel. So anywhere you go, you'll be able to find it. So if you go to PCC and you put Folakemi Adedeji Ikuyinminu, you will find it there, all the ones that she has done here by the grace of God. But obviously on her page you get a lot more than what she's done here by the grace of God. Well, I think so. Anyway, let me not talk before she talk. Okay. So everybody that is coming into the house, God bless you, whether new or old. We appreciate you. If you are new, please help us to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and where you're joining us from. Would love to get to know you more. We are a community here and we are family. And on that note, let me quickly say this. I don't know how many of you will remember Senior Pastor Wumi from Canada. Senior Pastor Wumi from Canada. You might think she's left. She hasn't. Because of work, she's always catching on. She's one of those people that I know, she goes back to watch. She's always catching up all the time. So you might not be seeing her. She used to be on Instagram most of the time when our Instagram was very active. Live. But obviously nature of work, so she has to catch up. Unfortunately, Senior Pastor Wumi lost her mom. So again, I'm going to ask every member of the PCC family to please reach out to her. She's on Instagram, Honey Cakes. So Honey Cakes on Instagram, Honey Cakes on Facebook, or you look for her name on Facebook. Please, if you can. I just stumbled across it on Facebook 2 days ago, and I wasn't even sure if it was her mom. And I contacted her, and she said yes. So please, if you can reach out to her, that would be very nice of us as a family. Um, all of us that has lost our mothers, we know what that feels like. So if you can, please do reach out to her. Okay, so we've got a power packed session again. So I'm bringing my sister on board so that we can proceed. We already started this a while back. Some of you will be aware, and some of you already filled some questionnaire. And from that and the things that Sister Folakemi has taken us through, I think you'll be well aware now which aspect concerns you, which area you're doing good at, or which area we need to improve on. I think I've said that correctly, but you know what? I'm going to hand over to the experts.
Uh,
Why are you laughing at me?
I'm
Am I
not.
not?
I'm just
You see,
enjoying the
I'm
conversation.
just okay. No worries. No worries. Good to see you. How are
Thank
you?
you. Good evening. I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
Excellent. I like this your color. I like my screen with colors. I don't know whether people know that I love colors. I
I
love colors.
notice. Yeah, I notice. Good evening, sis for me. Yeah, I'm comfortable around you because sometimes I look at my wardrobe. I'm like, only me. Red, yellow, blue, green. Yeah,
Yes, I
nice
love
too.
my colors. I don't know why black, 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 black. Why? We're not mourning, and
Yeah.
cheer up, do things, be bold with your colors. Uh, so here we are again, Sister Falakemi.
Mm.
We're picking it up where we left the last time. What have you been doing since the last time we saw you?
What have I been doing? Lots of things. Getting active on my Facebook group, putting out content on supporting parents and teenagers. Um, yeah, busy with church. The young people are doing well in church. My own personal young people are doing well at school. Checking up on them. Yeah, and
Excellent.
looking after my parents.
Oh, good. Please continue to. Uh, don't stop. um, your I think I'll say mini broadcast that you do
Yeah.
compared to mine is mini.
It is mini. It is mini. I'm not.
Your
We're
mini
coming
broadcast.
behind you.
Um, if you want to see them, I think that's another thing because I think you're still finding your way around social media.
Yeah.
Um, if you guys want to see some of those things, and I will encourage you to see them, even the post, but I guess that's the conversation Sister Falakemi and I would have later, because she has a close group, and because it's a close group, if you're not inside you don't see it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you're not inside you don't see it. So I have put the details on the screen. You can see it there if you want to be a part of that group. But again, I'm not even also sure the broadcast because I get to see obviously because I'm inside. So
Yeah.
I don't know whether people on the outside are getting to see it. But there are tools to help parents. Even your posts, there are tools to help parents on different aspects of raising teenagers.
Yeah.
I remember one that you put out about if the room is messy, leave it, go and chill, take a cup of tea, do something else. And one man said,
That's
I
what you
don't know whether I
remember.
can do that one. No. Or he said, God help us or something. You could see that
Mm,
advice to him was like,
mm.
you know,
Ah,
it's
that's
hard to
heavy.
digest
Mm,
exactly. But
mm.
anyway, let's get on to the order of the day. Everybody is welcoming you. They're
Thank
happy to
you.
see you.
Thank you.
So I'm going
Thank
to hand
you.
over the reign to you. You tell me what to do, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay, good evening, everybody, once again. Thank you for joining us. I'm honored to be here. Thank you, Stafunke and Pastor, for having me back here. And I'm always happy to share with children of God. We've been talking about executive function skills. We've gone through quite a few of the skills, so we'll probably start. Stephen, if we can have the slides. I think most people who are here were probably here when we started, but we'll start from the beginning because some people might
Okay.
watch the replay. I'll
Okay.
just do a brief overview
Okay. That's
um,
absolutely fine.
I won't spend too long on each slide.
Okay.
So these skills are skills that are important for growing children
Mm.
to build the foundations they need for the future. When we look at the summary at the end, which is where I want to spend a lot of time today, we will begin to understand why we have the discrepancies, even as adults, why we struggle with some things. So, what are these skills? Okay, skills that help us to control our impulses, skills that help us to take turns, skills that help us to manage change, skills that help with planning, time management. All of those skills are foundation skills for learning. Okay, the skills that help us as the children go to school and begin to learn. They are ready because they have some of these skills in place. Is our PowerPoint playing up?
Yeah. I'm just waiting for your instruction. So,
Okay, let's start, sis. Let's start. Let's
okay.
move on to the next one,
Okay.
to the first one. Okay, so they're like the control system in the brain. Okay, they refer to all the processes that we need to plan and organize activities. So the things that we do that we think they're just that we just do them, it's because of it's a result of training that we've gone through. It's a result of practice. So these are the skills that they lay the foundation for us to be able to thrive in life, and children need those skills to do well. Let's move on.
Okay.
Okay, so we talked about the foundation is important for learning. We talked about how to lay a foundation for learning, and we said learning begins from the womb. It's important that we realize this and we educate the young women and those who are still in childbearing age that whatever you do as soon as that child is conceived has an impact on their learning in the future. It has an impact on their brain structure. If the mother is stressed, the baby is stressed. We don't want stress for you. We don't want stress for the children. We don't want stress to affect the development of the child's brain. So foundations for learning begins from the womb. Let's move. Next one. Okay. Okay, we've talked about this. And neuroscientists say that the brain continues to develop until we're 25 for these skills we're talking about to fully mature. So whatever age your children are, like I always say, it's never too late to start building these skills. Whatever is missing, if you've done this questionnaire and you can see the gaps, that's why we're here to see how we can fill the gaps and help them to move on. Next slide, please. The experiences the children have form the building blocks. Okay, when the children are young, it's important for them to have lots and lots of experiences to stimulate their brain so that the brains can start making connections and developing and become stronger. So the early years are very important. They're very important. If you in England where we live, and in most developed countries, you will find that the early years settings are bright. They have lots of activities for the children to do so that they can stimulate their thinking, they can challenge them and stretch them. So it's important that the foundations are there for the early years. Next slide, please. Stress is not good, whether for us, and it's even worse for children. And we usually assume that children are not stressed. Children can be very stressed. Children, even though they can't speak, if we think they're young, they can't speak, they can feel what's going on around. And like that picture in we can see, stress affects the foundation. Okay, so stress can cause a disruption in the growth process for the child. So if there's been early stress, they might not be able to control their emotions when they grow up. Early stress is some, it might even be the stress they're absorbing from you. You don't say anything to them, but they can see that you're stressed. I always say most children are so intuitive. They say, "Is mommy, are you sad?" They will see that, or mommy, are you cross with me? Sometimes they will even think they are the ones that are the cause of our problems. So we just need to be aware that children can absorb stress from what we without us shouting at them, without us saying anything. Because sometimes you think, oh, I'm calm, I don't say it to the children, but they can see it. They can see that you're unhappy and stressed. Okay, let's move on. Right. We can skip. These are the skills we've been looking at. I think we went as far as time management. Let's quickly whiz through the slides so that we can have time for discussions. We've talked about how to teach them to manage time, teach them how to plan. Don't assume they know. Help them to do to-do lists. Break the tasks down for them. This is the first thing you do. This is the next thing you do. If you miss the first session, please go and watch this in full because I won't spend too much time on the first 5 or 6 slides. Let's move on. This is one of the skills they need to learn: organization. Okay, we need to teach them how to get themselves sorted, how to develop a system that works for them. And for each child, it is different. So depending on their temperament, depending on who they are as a person and their individuality. So routines, I talk about the relentless routines. Please make sure you have routines. It helps. It helps. Everything goes, anything goes. It just creates chaos for us. So what are your routines? What happens in the mornings? What happens in the evenings? What happens on a Saturday? And I always say it starts off like a military camp, but after a while everybody adjusts, and you are able to do, give or take, change the routine sometimes, but there's a structure. Okay, so these are the things that can help us with routines. Let's move on, Miss Ma. Okay, now I talked about task initiation. We see a lot of this in school where the child finds it difficult to start working. You have to prompt them and prompt them. So some children will need oral reminders, they'll need you to speak to them. Some children will need pictures that they look at. This is the first thing. Some of them will need a countdown, some of them will need a tick list. Like, these are the things you need to do on this morning, these are the things you need to do on Saturday. So we need to find the time to be able to explain it to them. We're going to church tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the things you need to do. Okay. Task initiation. Some of them are they're reluctant to start because they don't want to fail. So being rewarding them, encouraging them that you can do this, and finding time to sit down and say, okay, before we go and do this task, let's do this quickly. And so they know that they have support to do what they need to do. Next slide, ma'am. Time management. I think we talked about time management as well.
Mm,
Most most children and many adults don't have an idea of the passage of time.
mm,
So that makes them, they get late. They go late to where they need to go because they haven't developed an awareness of how long a task would take. And you will agree with me, this is a much needed skill.
yes.
Okay. Adults that rush into a meeting,
Mm-hmm.
the adults that are always late to church. It means
Mm-hmm.
that they haven't perfected the time management skills. Adults that are late to work,
Mm,
and then we turn around and we tell the children off. Eh, Don't be annoyed though. I'm always on the side of the children.
Of
Okay,
course.
so time management. We need schedules. We need, even me, I that I'm speaking to you. I something happened to me yesterday. We were praying in church, and I started, I started getting this message in my spirit, and I was like, oh God. And God was telling me that, you're not managing your time well, and you're making the excuse that you're busy. So I had to get home and start shifting things around. I opened my diary this afternoon, and I had to write, my prayer time across, because I use a 24-hour diary. The Holy Spirit said to me, write it inside, write it. Why is it not on your diary? So what we don't write down, we tend to forget. So if you have
Mm.
a schedule, please put a time on it, follow it. Have a weekly schedule, have a list of things you need to do for the week. So that way you would know whether you're achieving your aims or not. If you're used to doing that, you'll be able to teach it to the children as well. Okay, so make sure that there are clocks around the house, that the children can see the passage of time. Have a timer, a kitchen timer would do. If you don't have a sand, we use what we there's some we use in school called the sand timer, that shows you the visual. Yes, thank you. Pray the word. What we don't write down, we tend to forget, and what we haven't planned, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. So every hour of our day needs to be accounted for. What are you doing at this hour? Even your rest time, even your downtime. When we were on half term, I wrote a list of the things I wanted to do, and for the first time, I wrote I wrote TV binge on it, because I know that when I get tired and I haven't rested, I'm going to end up sitting down watching TV. So I actually put time on there to catch up on my favorite programs. So it's not just all work, 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 but if it's built into your schedule, you know that when I give this 1 hour, it's fine. The trouble comes when we now spend more than 1 hour, and we now say, let me watch the next one and the next one. So let's learn it so that we can teach the children. So practice estimating time. Say to them, how long do you think it's going to take to cook this, to boil this egg? How long do you think it's going to take us to get to school? So that they can start having an understanding there's a passage of time. So we're going to need to plan ahead. If it takes us 10 minutes to get to school, we can't leave home when it's 2 minutes to when the bell goes. We'll be late. So an understanding of that. Teach them how to reflect. We were late today. What happened? Did we get caught in traffic? Where did we leave the house on time? Oh, I didn't finish my homework. I know some of them, they'll be doing their homework, and you say go to bed, they'll say I haven't finished because they didn't start on time. And some will cry because they know they'll be in trouble if they don't finish it and take it to school the next day. But then it's bedtime. So it's helping them understand why are we having this trouble? Because you haven't planned your time. Because so let's structure time. Let's structure time for homework. Let's structure time for reading, time for cooking, house chores, so that they know routine. Can you see routines are coming back?
Mm-hmm.
Next slides, please, ma.
Okay.
And if there's any question, please just put it in the chat. We'll look at it as we go along.
Okay.
I can see the chat. Okay, so attention. Um, Being able to focus on a task for a short period of time. Now, this generation, we are struggling with attention, both adults and children. Okay, for children to hold their attention, simple, clear, straightforward instructions depending on the age. When we look at the summary at the end, you'll understand what I'm talking about. For younger children, don't tell them more than two things. Up to age 5, they can't hold it, they'll forget. Give them a visual reminder of what they need to do so that they know. And give them a timer. It's time to do our work. When the hand of the clock gets to this point, we will stop so that they know. Okay. Teach them personal skills to check that, Am I doing my homework right? Am I putting my handwriting on the line? Am I writing my letters correctly? Am I writing my numbers correctly? If it's the older ones, what's the focus of this assignment? What do you need to get from it? Do you need to write a letter to the prime minister? What do you need to put in the letter? So helping them break it down. You would agree with me that we need time to spend with them when they're young. And coming from experience, it's 18 years. Let me tell you, it's 18 years you have with them, max 18 years. They're either gone to uni or they start an apprenticeship and they are gone. So let's find time in these 18 years to please spend with the children and teach them these skills. Next slide, ma. Okay, right. I think this was supposed to be our next one. Now, metacognition is a big word. It's probably the word on the checklist, but it's simply problem solving. So, and problem solving starts from being aware of what you know so that you can learn what you need to learn. So, for instance, a child that knows their numbers and recognizes their numbers, when we come to adding, they would know that, okay, this is what this number means, this is what that number means. If there's no foundation, then there's nothing to build on. Now, problem solving skills grow fastest between age 12 and 15. So for the children between 0 and 12, they don't have a lot of problem solving skills. They need us to help us plan. They need us to help them build on prior knowledge. So when they, for instance, I taught primary one for a long time, yeah, primary one and two. If they ask me to spell a word, I'd say to them, what sounds do you hear? So I'll take them back to their phonics and say, if they say, for instance, well, how do you spell sponsor? I will say it slowly and I'll say, what sounds do you hear? So that I can help them pick up on the skills they had learned before to use it in spelling what they need to spell. So that it can cut across anything. Problem solving. If they say, oh, I don't know what to do, I can't do this homework, I don't know, I don't understand it, look at the question and ask them what they know about the topic. So if it's history, so where has this taken place? What's happening? What did you learn about it? Sit down together, research, so that sometimes you say something to them, they go, "Oh yes, my teacher said so." But if we hadn't found the time to, remind them of what they know, then they will find it really difficult to get started. And sometimes it's not even with academics. Problem solving could be like they got something to do, or there's a friendship issue, or there's something that they can't get to the bottom of it. Sit down and ask them questions, talk about it, like, okay, so what's the problem, what happened, and let them explain to you. Don't give your opinion, just ask questions. What do you think you should do, or what are you thinking? Let's ask them what they think, because usually they have something going on at the back of their minds, but they don't really want to say anything because they're not sure. So ask probing questions, and that way they will be able to start working out solutions to problems themselves. Let's stop jumping in and sorting things out. Now, this is coming from a recovered fixer. I liked my things to be just so. I like to sort problems. But if we keep sorting problems for them, they wouldn't learn the skill of solving the problems for themselves. So it's having the patience to step back and talk them through what they think the solution is. Now, if you don't agree with the solution, you don't have to say, you can say, oh, do you really think that's the best way to go? And they might say yes. And you would ask their permission and say, can I suggest something? Now, especially for teenagers, when you ask their permission to come in,
Mm.
they would listen. But when you tell them, what's the matter with you? Don't you know that you should do and do and do that and do this? They just, some of them will just kind of close, they'll just shut you out
Mm.
because they feel you're not listening to them. So helping them to, well, when even you as an adult,
Mm.
when you feel that you've achieved something by thinking through it, you feel satisfied. How much more a child that's growing and their self-esteem is still very, very very fragile. So let's talk them through solutions. Let's not be give them the solution. Don't give them the answers to their homework. Talk them through it. Don't give them to answers. There are times when we will give them answers, but don't jump in. Don't jump in straight away to give answers. Build it up. And it helps the child to think as well, so they don't get, lazy, like, oh, my mommy will tell me the answer. Next slide, ma.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's no question, by the way, so it's not
Yeah,
that
yeah, I know.
you're
I'm
aware.
looking at it.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
I'm looking at it. Thank you. Okay, now working memory, very important. Now, for children who have difficulties like short-term memory difficulties or dyslexia, the working memory is what holds them back. Now, these are the processes that help us hold information in our mind while working on it. It sounds very complex, but we do it without thinking. Okay, so for instance, those are the skills you use when you are doing dictation. Those are the skills you use when you are copying. Simply copying the date from the board is an uphill task for some children because they haven't learned how to hold information in their head while transferring it from their mind, from their brain to their hands to write it. Um so for working, if you find your child is really forgetful, you send them from sitting room to the kitchen and they've forgotten what you've asked them to do. It's probably because they are struggling to hold information in their head. And you would find out that all the strategies cut across. The strategies you use for time management, like tick lists, you can use it to help them with their working memory. Make a list. You're going upstairs. These are the things I want you to bring down. You're going to school. This is the list of things you need to take with you. We're traveling. Can you write a list of the things we're going to need? So, and then also we help them make meaningful connections. Now, when we were growing up, we did a lot of rote learning. Rote learning is a good part of learning, but it's not the only way to learn. Now you find that children these days, they need to be able to make connections so
Mm.
that their learning can stick. So
Mm.
if you look on the screen, I know that we did mnemonics, we did acronyms when we were growing up, learning the colors of the rainbow, Richard of York, gain battle in vain. I still, when I was doing this slide, I remember the song I used to learn trigonometry.
Mm.
Opposite, adjacent is tan theta, opposite hypotenuse, sec theta. We made it into a song. And how many years down the line? It's been
It's okay. Don't
more
tell
than
us.
it's been how many lots of years. And I
Mm.
still remember the song. It was a song we used to learn, the bones of the skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
We I think we were just gifted by God. We kind of found a way to do our learning because no, I don't think anybody taught us. We just made it just because we knew we had to remember it. Now, we had a lot of resilience. These children these days, we are building them up. So God will take us there. So teach them to make connections, teach them to make songs out of, if they're struggling to practice for a test, tell them, let's make it up into a song. If anything is made up into a rap, these children, they will just soak it up like, yeah. So use acronyms, use visuals. Look at that there and there. If you know how many times we correct that spelling in school,
Mm. It's
and I'm
true.
not talking about year one and two, I'm talking about secondary school,
Mm.
and they can't figure it out. The visual will help them. And thank God for the internet these days. Just Google it. I always say to my children, Google is your friend. Somebody would have done something about it and you'll be there. So if they're forgetting things, do lots of games and puzzles, things that would help make them, force them to memorize a little bit so that they can remember. Make up songs, make up dances, help them to visualize it. I'm a visual person. If I'm going somewhere, I know where I'm going, but sometimes I have to see it. I have to see the road plan in my head. I don't know if it happens to you.
Mm.
I have to see the plan of the road in my head. I can see the picture of where I'm going, but somehow I have to plan it out visually in my head so I can get there quickly or not miss my way. But so yeah, let's use visuals. And you're not too young, you're not too old to use any of these skills. Next slide.
Okay. Please do feel free to leave any comment,
Yes, please
observation,
leave
or
your
please.
comments and questions. Okay, self control. This is a big one. Ability to regulate
Um,
yourself, including thoughts, actions, and emotions. Now, vital, as in it's a vital skill. This is where, there's a big push on emotional intelligence. This is where the issues are. Self control, on being able to develop that skill to regulate. Okay, so you would find, like, I think in some of the one of the sessions we talked about, having children, seeing children having meltdowns
mm-hmm.
in the mall, or
Mm.
sometimes you see parents that seem to be struggling with the child. Now, if a child doesn't have special needs, if there's no additional need, sometimes children under the age of 5 will have a meltdown when they're tired. We know that. They'll have a meltdown if they're sleepy, or they'll have a meltdown if there's too much going on and it overwhelms them. Now, 0 to 5, yes. By the time they pass that age, we need to have started building into them the skills to self-control, to manage their emotions. And those skills are not built by saying be quiet, stop crying. No, it's to ask them what's going on the inside of you. How are you feeling? Interestingly, I was saying to someone, and we're talking after church on Sunday, I said they're never too old to ask them how they're feeling. My son is
Exactly.
23. He finished his exams, and I just kept saying, what's going on? What's going on? So one morning I just called and I said, how are you feeling? He said, you're the only person that asked me how I'm feeling. I mean, if you look at him, he's taller than me, he's got beard, but they still want you to ask how they're feeling. So ask how they're feeling. And we need to teach them the vocabulary that they need. And we ourselves need to have that vocabulary. So it's not just happy. Is it because I have there's a whole wheel, I off the top of my head now. There are different words for different feelings. I could probably send it to staff, okay, if anybody's interested, so that they have the emotional vocabulary to express how they're feeling. Okay, and help them to identify how they're feeling. If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling low, if you're feeling uncomfortable, because sad can cover a whole range of emotions. And if sad is the only word they've got, it's sometimes, or else it will mean unhappy, but it might be the child is uncomfortable. It might be the child is irritated. They're different things. Okay, so help them to identify their emotions. How are they feeling? And then we need to have consequences. Okay? We need to have consequences for things when we've set a standard. If they break the rules, we have consequences. For each I won't sit here and tell you this and this is what your consequence should be. You know your household, you know the child.
Exactly.
You need
Exactly.
to sort out individual. You know the child, and you know what they can do and what they can't do.
Mm,
Okay, and if we need help with that, come and speak to me. I can help you. So
not
set
me.
set rules, model what you want to see. Model what you want to see. I can't say it. I can't say it enough. Please be the model. Show it. Let's not expect them to do it. Let's not assume they know it. Model it. This is what I want you to do. I remember when my children started cooking for the whole household. I told them the last time I cooked, I said, "Look, come and watch it now, because next week." And usually I used to I just do bulk cooking and freeze
Mm,
it.
mm,
So I thought these children are not going to know how to cook. So I that month I bought the meat, I bought everything, I put it in little packs. And I said to them, they were already in secondary. I said, when you come back from school on Friday, you are the one cooking. Everything you need is in you are the one that needs to remember to take it out of the freezer. Of course, there were instances when they didn't remember to
things.
take the
Yeah.
chicken out. But then that's a conversation to be had, because I had modeled it. I had showed them what to do. I had given them a list of what they needed to do. So that's how we build them up. So I stepped back, and I always tell the story of how we didn't buy oil for a whole year because one day my daughter cooked the stew and forgot to put oil.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, it tasted all right. So I thought, okay, we can do without it. So we really just didn't do much of oil
Huh?
from that season onwards. So, and then we reinforce what they are doing well. If they have managed a challenging situation
Mm,
well, we
mm,
reinforce it. We'll say, oh, I'm really happy with how calmly you took that change, because some children will not be able to take a change. For instance, some children will not be able to accept disappointment, and you can say to them, I'm proud of how you handled the disappointment. And so they know that this is a good skill that I have displayed. So emotional control, is for me, uh, it's one of the top skills, because you will see adults. I'm sure you and I, we can name a few adults who will blow their top, and they'll say, "Oh, that's the way I am. I have to speak my mind."
mm,
And I always think, do you speak your mind at work? Do
mm.
you speak your mind like that?
Exactly.
Hmm? But
Exactly.
when we get to church or at
Mm,
home, we feel we can blow our top
mm,
and speak how we like. No, it's not right. It's not right. So if we're expecting the children to do it, we ourselves will model it. We will model it, and it takes. And I'm glad that we're on a Christian platform. The Spirit of God is there to help us,
mm,
unless we're not listening. Unless we're not listening. So yeah, emotional control, important, important, very important. Let's study and model it so that the children can pick it up from us. Let's move on to the next slide.
okay.
Ah,
No
thank you,
worries.
ma. We perseverance. Okay, another one. It's got many names now. They call it resilience. They call it it's just simple, good old perseverance, ability to stick to a task and not give up when it becomes challenging.
Mm,
Now, I'm pretty sure you have pictures of young people going through your mind who will just say, "Ah, I've had enough. And of course, there are adults like that. When it becomes challenging,
They
okay,
tap out.
tap out. And it's affecting so many things. It's affecting marriages, it's affecting friendships, it's affecting relationships, even jobs. Some people change jobs, like it's good to move, but they just can't cope. They can't cope with the pressure, they can't cope with any stress. They just want to move. And life is not all bread and butter, you know, sweet, everything. No, there will always be challenges. So when they are stuck, we need to model. See, that word modeling is parenting, is influence. Parenting is modeling. It's not do as I say, it's do as I do. In fact, it's not even do as I do, it's do as you absorb from me. That influence is vital. We're influencing every waking moment. The non-verbal, they are picking it up. So let's model with them, for them, how to approach things when we're stuck, like problem solving. What do you know? Write down your ideas. Take one step towards solving the problem. What's the missing piece? How can we do it better? How can I organize my idea? Let's brainstorm. Sit down and brainstorm together possible solutions, so that they won't develop this rigidity that, there's only one answer. What possible solutions can we have? And when they give suggestions, don't throw their suggestions away. Don't say, oh, do no. I always say to them, no, there's no stupid idea. If you can open your mouth to share, then you are thinking. Ask questions. So if they have a project, brainstorm. They say, oh, I'm struggling with this project. Brainstorm. What do you know? What can we think about? Let everybody get involved. Have post-its. Write ideas on post-its. Put it up that way. And even if it's as simple as maybe as planning a family holiday, let them come up with their own ideas.
Planning a family holiday is simple.
I said simple, and then I thought, okay. Even if it's as simple or challenging as planning a family holiday, teach them the skills. When we were younger, we had debating societies. We
Yes, it
had
still
we had
exists.
Yeah. Oh, they're not as much in they're not
Oh,
in
really?
schools.
Is in my
In
children's school.
Yeah, well, maybe in most public schools, it's not happening. they,
It's
they need
public.
those skills of debating, of putting their ideas across. If they want a toy, if they want a particular thing, let them do it. In fact, I have a friend. She has two sons, but one of her sons, very smart boy. If he wants anything, he would do the research. He would do a PowerPoint presentation and call
Wow.
his parents to a meeting.
Wow.
When he's finished there, she said, I will just be looking like, so what will you say to this one? He would have, looked at the pros and cons. He would tell them the
Wow.
advantages and disadvantages.
Wow.
These are skills. These are skills, because he had been given the opportunity to air his opinions from when he was young. You know, go and write down where you think we should go for holiday and why. Go and write down why you want this toy. Tell me why you want it. How much is it? How are you going to look after it? And then they will be learning those skills. They will be understanding that, oh, okay, I don't just get things because I want them. I have to have a reason. I have to be able to support my answers. It happens in school. We'll say, they will read a passage. We'll say, support your answer with references to the text. You can see how the skills are just so interlinked. Yeah, so let's move on. The teacher
You know,
is
Sister
coming now.
Folakemi, I actually have a question. I don't know whether
Yes,
I can bring
yeah,
it up here
go on then.
because I don't see anybody saying anything for now. So I'm going to put put the slide on hold for a while, and the
Yeah.
two of us can be seen on the screen.
Yeah.
So there's two. Let me just go for one.
Yeah.
So I have this experience with people where I find it in adult and I find it in children. When somebody is helping you or set out to help you, or whatever they're doing is for your benefit, but they're giving their time to do that,
Mm.
which part of our understanding, which part of our executive functions have we not developed for us not to understand that this person is giving up their time for me, and I need to make myself available or go along with what they're doing? I don't know whether I'm communicating effectively,
Okay.
because I think some people take it for granted and I think a lot of children do it. Like, you were given an example of when you were trying to get your young adult, well, they were not adults at the time, but to learn to cook for themselves in the household.
Mm.
So sometimes they will forget the chicken, or they'll forget to bring something out, which is preparation in advance. But they might expect that, okay, if I don't bring it out, mom will bring it out.
Uh, no way.
Okay, you see what
They
I'm
know me.
saying? So if I don't bring the clothes down, mom will bring it down, or somebody will bring it down. So, but the days and the time when you brought it out or you brought it down, why do people not register that you are helping them, but they feel more entitled that that's what you're supposed to do? I don't know whether I've
Yeah,
really,
I get that.
yeah,
Um, it's part of the emotional control, isn't it? It's part of there are a few things there. The
okay,
emotional side of things and I'd say, yeah, but majorly the emotional side of
emotional.
things, because that emotional, that's why I said that's where all this emotional intelligence things are coming from.
Mm,
If you understand that other people are equally as important as
mm-hmm,
you,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
if you understand that I have a part to play
mm-hmm,
in creating a balance,
mm.
then
Excuse
you
me.
would you would be like more, I mean, you
More
know it now. You know
in
how
tuned.
adults in
Yes,
tune. You know how adults will waste your time.
yes.
It's lack of emotional intelligence. It
Wow.
is that causes disrespect.
Okay.
If
Maybe because, okay, this is another thing I see very prevalent with young adults, especially university level.
Yeah.
They seems to lack social etiquette. I don't know how many times I've had this conversation with especially the adults in my house.
Mm.
Why does so many young adults lack social etiquette?
Big
Wow, is that a
question.
big
It is.
maybe for the benefit of
It is.
people
Yeah.
watching, maybe they
Yeah.
don't even know
Social
what I mean
etiquette.
by social etiquette, you know. Um some people don't know how to watch out for other people. They don't know how to be courteous. They don't know how to respect people's space and boundary. They don't know. I don't even know whether it's they don't know or they just don't care. I really don't know. But it seems it's still falling under the emotional
It
that you're
is.
talking about.
It is part of. It is part of it. Um, the social side of things. It's. I don't know where to take it from.
Please just
It's
start anywhere, because I have seen it so many
we
times.
we were this we talked about culture. I don't know if it
Yes,
was on PCC or on I think it was on the children's
day.
day.
Mm,
Culture is important.
yes.
We are people of faith and we have a culture.
Mm,
and our culture is beautiful. Even the original British culture is full of, etiquette and
Etiquette.
things like
Yes.
that. We
Yes.
can't throw away these things. We can't throw them away. And I think that what our generation some of is lacking is we haven't
Learned.
passed on a
Okay.
lot of these things
Okay.
consciously and
Oh, because
taking, yeah, go on.
you and I, we
Mm,
grew up in an environment, well,
yeah,
I'm assuming we did,
yeah.
where even the eye movement, the facial expression, the body language, you knew exactly what was being conveyed to you.
Mm,
You knew your
true,
boundaries. You
true.
knew what was allowed, not permissible or not permissible. Um, if you were going overboard or, you kind of, it's just that today it kind of seems like no boundaries, no
Yeah,
social etiquette, no some of them don't even know how to eat politely. They don't know what is socially
acceptable.
acceptable. I
Yeah.
don't know whether social media has blurred and wanting to
Yes,
be an
yes,
influencer and to be
the
followed. And
environment, the
yeah, I don't
access to
I really,
information, and times have changed. I talked
of
about
course.
modeling, and enforcing what have modeled, and as Christians, prayerfully as well, because there's a lot of influence. I think basic manners
Yeah.
is our responsibility as
Mm,
parents.
mm,
Table manners.
mm.
You were taught those things. Courtesy. You were taught those
Yes,
things. And they cut across cultures, they cut across
exactly.
faiths, they cut across everything. And like I always said to my children, if you're royalty, you carry yourself like royalty.
That's right.
You treat people like royalty.
Royalty.
When we had all those conversations about is sagging trousers, not sagging trousers, I said, you know what?
Mm,
Even the one that they think is not doing quite right among
mm,
the royals, there's
mm.
still a way they
He
carry
carries
themselves.
himself.
There's
Exactly.
etiquette. So I think it's our responsibility when it comes to manners, when it comes to
Mm,
respect, when we are, if it's lacking, what has happened. When we were growing up, there was always an adult around. Okay, there are questionable circumstances with some of the things we went through,
of course.
but most adults were out to, help you be a
Mm,
better version
mm.
of yourselves. I think with parenting in this generation, some of us have become really sensitive. We don't want
Other inputs.
others input of others. We don't want to people to make us look like we are in incompetent,
We're
or
failing.
that we're failing.
Mm,
We don't want attention on us. So
mm,
people are sensitive.
mm.
So even if you wanted to kind of correct or support, you are cautious. So things have changed at that level. But yeah, I think, like they said, charity begins at
At
home.
home. So teenagers or young adults who have
Yeah.
not learned these skills, and sadly enough, God forgive me, but you understand where I'm going to go now when I say sadly, they're aspiring to have a spouse.
Mm.
You don't have courtesy, you don't have social awareness, you
Mm.
don't. So, but they have such high expectations. I want this must be done for me, it must be this way. But what are you bringing to the table?
Mm.
Your attitude
Mm.
stinks. You don't know
Ab-
how to talk. You don't
Absolutely.
know how to comport yourself. You have no
Mm.
decorum. You have no scruples, and you. But yet you want all the fine things in life, and you want somebody to
It's that sense
entitlement.
of entitlement. You
Yeah.
took it out of my mouth. Sense of entitlement. And to be honest with you, it just doesn't happen. It is not a sudden thing. It's always been. They haven't learned boundaries.
So when,
They
how?
haven't. It's from parenting.
So is there, you keep saying there's room for change,
There's room
but
for change if the parents are aware, if they are ready, is if they're ready to own up and say, look, we got it wrong here. We need help. So some of those people have gone to extremes that they talk a lot about like narcissistic. I can never
yes,
say that word right.
narcissistic. Yeah, don't
Narcissistic.
worry, me too. I
They
used
talk
to
a lot
struggle.
about it.
Yeah,
It's all from lack of
the
love and
foundation.
respect for other people.
Mm,
That's why marriages are not lasting and all of that. So
exactly.
for teenagers, some of them would have to go into therapy because they're so like into themselves.
Mm,
They don't even see, they can't even be kind to other people.
at all.
So they probably need to go into therapy, or they need to
And
go into counseling,
attention must be on
or
me.
on
Focus must be
me.
on
That's
me.
poor self-esteem.
Wow.
It comes across as confidence, but it's
It's
not.
not.
It's brash. It's unpolished. It's just very irritating. But yeah, once you know there's a problem, counseling, therapy, coaching,
Wow.
some of it can be corrected through coaching
Mm,
when they start doing reflections.
mm-hmm.
And the basic thing when you look through those sort of behaviors is a lack of thankfulness.
Yeah.
By the time people are so focused on me, they
Mm,
can't appreciate anything. And unfortunately, parents feed a lot of these things.
bad
They
habit.
encourage it by, oh, 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 yeah, the, because he's sulking because he hasn't got, this latest Nike. My friend, it doesn't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
We can't pander to their every whim and
Mm-hmm.
then expect that they will grow up and be mature.
Mm.
There has to be boundaries. There has to be standards. We will provide for their needs, but we won't bend over backwards.
Words.
If a child is wearing, you can afford it, they're wearing designers at 16. What are you setting them up for?
For 16. You're even saying 16,
What
Sister
are they?
Folakemi.
Yeah. What are you setting them up
They're
for?
literally popping out of the womb nowadays
And
and they're wearing
they
designers.
will refuse to wear
Or
anything
anything
that.
else.
mm, well, so
So,
what? Yeah. So yeah, it's the emotional side of things. It's it's the adults themselves being secure enough to
to
put the boundaries in place and
thank you.
stick with them. And
Mm.
stick with them.
You
Okay?
know, there's so much that we need to learn,
I
honestly.
know.
I wish the church will take this thing on board and just help us. It saddens me, Sister Falakemi, because we've got people like you. We've got people like Dr. Wonu. We've got so many in the body of Christ who goes to the local assembly, and the local assembly is not utilizing all these resources that we have to our advantage.
Well, we'll do what we can. We do what we
Wow.
can. So we just need to to be more open and to be more realistic about. We were having a discussion after church yesterday, and we were saying, you know what? As much as we want to put boundaries in place, we need a
Mm,
relationship with the children.
of
And
course.
the question I asked those of us standing there was that, if your child is in trouble, a teenager,
Mm,
will they call you?
My own will call me
Is there a relationship
to the point that they'll
to the
feel
point
comfortable
that
enough to
yeah,
call
you are
you.
the first,
That's right.
point of call,
Point of
even though they
call
know they're in
that
trouble.
they're in
So that
trouble.
it's a parenting
Mm,
today is complex.
mm.
It's complex, and we need all the support we can get to get it right, because I, God help us.
Honestly, you know, you said something, and maybe it might be a good place because we're over the hour and we stop at slide 16, perseverance.
Oh
Um,
no, you
we
didn't
still got a
finish
long way
it.
to go. 27. But you know, the thing is, you spoke about possibility of counseling and
Yeah,
coaching and
yeah,
you know, all sorts of things to help even this
yeah.
young adult. uh, like you said, it comes from parents being able to identify them, being realistic about it,
Mm.
and actually taking the right step
Ask for help.
to
Ask
help.
for help. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, I just want to be realistic here that you know, ethnic
Mm.
minority don't go for
Mm.
counseling. Okay,
Yeah.
ethnic minority don't go for anything, got to do anything that way. There's nothing I can do it by myself. Go and spend that kind of money. Da, 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 da,
I
da.
know, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't do it. But on the paraventure, I know that we are not all gifted with the same ability.
Mm.
Some of us have the ability, like for instance, you know, in this house, we always say something. I'm sure you've watched X Factor or Britain has Got Talent or Pop Idol, whatever they call those things. And you see some people there that should never have gone. But they were there because their parents couldn't tell them the truth.
Mm.
Their
Mm. Or the
family
family
couldn't
of
tell them the
friends.
truth.
Mm.
Yes. You will
Mm.
see, I even seen some mothers come and fight the judge. How do you think she's not good? She's brilliant. And the whole world is having a laugh. Millions of people across the globe are laughing at you and your child. And you're showing your failure. And
Mm.
we know why that child is how that child is, because you clearly did not get your marbles correct. So the reason I'm saying this is also there are some parents, and I believe some parents that were actually on that stage fighting for their children, they actually did believe that their children are good. They did. They didn't know any better. They thought their child is good.
Mm.
But there are some, they know the child is not good, but they haven't got the strength, the willpower to actually say, honey, you can't sing.
Mm.
You haven't got the
Yeah.
vocal cord.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think it's treating the children like, some parents think, oh, children should not be unhappy. I'm not
wow,
advocating that children should be unhappy. I'm just saying we need to be realistic about where they are. They need to be able to, we need to teach them to be able to absorb the truth.
of course.
Teach them to be able to absorb the truth and to manage it. That's the other skill of managing their
In the
emotions.
truth. Yeah.
Yeah, because that you will get reviews at work. Are you going to have a meltdown
Mm,
because you got a review at work that wasn't
mm,
right? So
mm.
it's us actually, like, thank you, JJ Profits. Charity begins at home. If we don't tell them the truth at home, who's going to tell them the truth? Who's going to put them in line? If they are being rude at home and we allow them to be rude, how are they not going to be rude to the teacher? Some parents don't want to fight the battle. They just, they'll just be, everything goes. Now, if we get to the level of everything goes, especially when you got a strong-willed child, a strong will is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
It's not a bad thing. A strong will
Channeled.
can be channeled.
Yeah.
It can be molded
Yes.
and become a useful, a strong-willed person
Yes.
advocates.
It's a
They
good
will speak,
quality.
they will speak their mind, and and they will stand their ground. It's a
Mm,
good thing to have.
mm,
Then how do we manage this
yeah.
so that they don't become bullies, so that they don't become ones that we cannot
Mm,
correct?
mm, mm.
If we're struggling, we must ask for help.
You know, you
We can't hide our head in the sand and
no,
think the problem will go away.
no.
You manage the child, you manage them. They go to university, they go out and they start getting into trouble because they haven't learned how to self-regulate.
Exactly, self-regulate. You know, you said something that they wouldn't have a meltdown at work. Sister
Yeah,
Folakemi, sit
they
down
do.
tight. They do.
They do. I
I
know.
had a terrible, terrible incident, and I was so horrified and shocked when I was
Mm,
told. A young man in his early 30s, Sister Folakemi, had a falling out with a girlfriend. Do you know his parents, 10 o'clock at night, took him in their car? A man of 30 took him in their car to the house of the girlfriend to go and beg, because they said if they don't, he will not
They
be
will
able to
never
function
sleep.
at work tomorrow. He will not be
What's
able to function at
it's
work tomorrow.
That's helicopter parenting.
Whoa.
It doesn't produce good results.
At 30, in his early 30s, he's going to be a father and a husband to somebody.
Mm. And be the one to solve,
And I'm the man of this house.
and you have to obey me. Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. Parents need support. Children need support. Let's not just hide our heads away and hope that these things will grow away. If you buy, you are the one providing for your child, and they're disrespecting that fact and they're not appreciating it. Things have gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be corrected. Absolutely. Some parents have children that they can't correct, that talk over them. You know, there are times I have to pull children back and say to them, Why are you behaving like this in school? Why? It shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so. Everywhere they are, I mean, children will behave like children,
Of
but
course.
still, there's certain things you expect of, why are we doing all we're doing if the children would not turn out well?
You know, another thing, I'm sure, probably, I don't know whether it's in your PowerPoint, but personal hygiene is
And,
another thing.
but
Pers-
that's
Why are you smiling?
it's not personal hygiene.
Wow. Personal hygiene for young adults? I mean, I'm talking university students here.
I know. I
What?
think it's that that lack of maturity. Some of them going to university is their first time living outside of the home. They're just Some of them are practically like children.
They are
The
children
pleasure part of the brain is still more dominant.
than
They'd
the
rather
responsible.
than the responsible side of things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Personal hygiene for a lot of these children is this. And I tend to find they are male most of the time. It's disgusting.
Uh, well, they'll learn
That's what I'm saying.
when the
So
girls
again,
stay
like you
away.
said, charity, parents,
The kids at
because
home.
you would have noticed this. I mean, I can't tell you times when we've been in a camp and had to call some children aside or even call the parents. That's another thing. Everybody was smelling this child. Was the parent not smelling this child?
Afraid to talk.
Wow. Okay.
It's it starts from the word go, from from as early as possible. And once things have gotten to a head, it's usually beyond the power of the parents if they don't ask for help. Our So yeah, let's not keep quiet if we're struggling.
Yeah. I don't know how many times you've said that now, Sister Folakemi, that we shouldn't be quiet if we're struggling. But let me ask you statistically, how
Yeah.
many people reach out to you statistically?
Not many.
Exactly. Does that mean we're not struggling?
Well,
We are,
maybe the struggle is not bad enough.
really.
I find that, yeah, that's the thing. Maybe I think, yeah, actually, I find that when it comes to a head, that's when we start running around. But it shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so. Personally, I when I realized that my son, when he was in year 10, year 9, my husband had gone to work abroad. I was like, So one of my friends started a group for boys. Whoop, yeah,
You
quickly.
chucked him in there.
I plugged him in there, like, please. Well, they had mentors and all of that, because I could see that I needed help, and I'm glad I did. He now goes back into those groups as a mentor.
Wow.
As a mentor. So we don't let's not wait until things degenerate. At the end of the day, we say we're working because of the children. Let's invest in the these skills we're talking about. They are the life skills. Education is important, but these are the skills that will sustain them
Them for life.
for life. When how they're going to use the education and apply it appropriately is through guidance. Okay, some people are lucky; they have children who they can you can mentor your children yourself. It's fine. You can coach your children yourself. It's fine. Some need the help. I, my daughter didn't do much, but that's her temperament. That's the kind of person she is. She absorbs as you teach, as you know. Whereas that one, I knew he needed
The extra help.
yeah.
I-
Well, parents have to be ready. You're right. So JJ Prophets, we hide in church, and we shouldn't hide. We should I mean, even if we're not asking for help in church, there are provisions around us. We live in an environment, well, I live in the UK, where you can access help, where you can find people to talk to. And I think a lot of us want to hide away. We think, oh, we don't want social services to get into our case. At the end of the day, if we don't do the needful, it just goes from bad to worse. So God will help us.
Amen. That's
Amen.
always the finality of all our
is.
statements. God will
Ah.
help us.
Eh.
But God is not going to come down.
He's not going to come down.
There's
We
certain
have
things
to.
that He will
We
not
have
do
to
for
make,
us. He has
yes.
entrusted us with the resources, the capability, the everything. It's now left up to you to utilize it or not utilize it.
True.
And that's why I'm just advocating that, like by the way, JJ Prophet is my auntie. It's not so much that I'm blaming the local assembly. I'm just saying for them to utilize the expertise and the resources. So if we're regularly making this available, do you understand what I'm saying? Workshop, on a Sunday, because Sunday is the only day everybody
only
turn
day.
up. So
Do you
that
know
Sunday,
what?
we're not
Yeah.
doing anything. this is what we're doing. So
Do
you
you know
have no
what?
choice but to listen.
I think we're only just coming out of that cocoon of the spirituality. Let me
Liti,
know, let me be let
Spiro.
me be right. Yeah, that everything is spiritual.
No.
Okay, things I absolutely begin in the spiritual, but God has given us wisdom
Knowledge,
to be able to,
skills,
and knowledge and
resources,
skills to be able to do these things.
people like
For some
yourself.
people, if you're not talking Bible, what are you talking about? But that's not why are you going to the hospital if you're sick?
Exactly.
That's not the church.
Why they sending their children to
Okay.
school?
And when the apostle Paul was speaking, he said, I preach that you prosper
Yes,
and be in health, even as your soul. The
prosper.
soul is the most important. Is that when the soul prospers, ah, then you'll be able to prosper in other things. So the soul is the seat of all these things we're talking about. And the soul, we need help with those things.
Mm.
Even as adults, some people would look at you and say, ah, you have a coach. What for? What are they teaching you? You need mentoring. We need coaching as adults. The children need it as well.
It's true. It's true. Um, you said one thing, and I just want to repeat that thing before we go, and I hope parents will take it on board. You know, I was doing my what's that thing that we always do for some of us that work for NHS, refresher course, whatever, um, e-learning, that's what they call it. And part of it is um, safeguarding and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I, as I was going through it not too long ago, I realized that part of every child's right is to protection, is to be heard,
Mm, mm,
is to be heard.
mm.
And that is one thing that a lot of us struggle with about letting the child be heard. Because you've said this so many times. In case you don't know, it's part of when they do Children's Day, Children's Right, it's one of the things that let the child be heard. They have a voice.
Mm,
Let them
mm.
speak. Let them express themselves. I just
Sure.
you want to put that out there again because you and I grow up in an environment you are seen and not heard, okay?
Mm, mm.
And you speak when spoken to
Yeah.
or when given, but please you need to change, especially if you're not in diaspora. We that were stopped from speaking, we know the impact it had on us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I'm glad that these conversations are going on because exactly what I was saying to them on Sunday. I said, look, let me tell you, we made it through, but
Just about.
just about. But even we were a work in progress
Mm,
because of things that we had to
mm,
readjust. How some of us had to go and find the confidence
mm.
to to go out there.
That's the more reason everybody Sister Folakemi is not talking, but please go and look for her thing. Yeah, she puts out a lot of things on these things, and some of it she's coming from personal experience. Some of you look, I've always said this. Sister Kemi might be wearing hers on her sleeve and she's been open and honest about it. But be honest, I've always told you, many of us went through this thing or the other. It was clearly abuse. It was wrong. It wasn't right. But, we forgave them because I also believe many of them didn't know any
They
better.
did,
That is what
didn't
they also knew. They
did
never
what
knew
they
any
knew.
better. They
Yeah.
didn't do it deliberately. Maybe some did, but I think the majority of them did not do it deliberately.
Mm.
But that doesn't, and that's where I'm always coming from, Sister Falakemi. And that's why I always struggle with the parents of today. You went through it. You knew what it was like. You knew your pain. You knew your agony. You knew your frustration. Why put your own children through the same thing?
Because the awareness is not there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did they
You have
forget their tears?
No, they for some people they say we turned out well.
Oh, wow.
Well is relative.
Okay.
So the definition of well
Mm.
needs to
Okay.
be, yeah, examined. Yeah. So well is relative. And it's awareness that helps us, start unpicking these things.
Okay.
And yeah.
I'm not going to say anymore. I'm just going to leave it. Excuse me.
It's awareness that
And
helps us to
uh,
unpick it. Well,
see, this is why I always say, look, especially as a child of God, you must always be learning. You
mm,
must always be
yes,
improving.
and have an open mind.
Have an open mind. The word
Some
of God
people,
advocate this.
some people's minds are so closed.
Ah, wow.
You won't believe it.
Sorry, oh.
The-
I
You know,
won't.
I said it then a few minutes ago that some people said this is the way I am. People are still
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. But you see, again, for me, this is why I tell them that then you are not a child of God.
Uh,
Because then you need to go and look at the scriptures. But let's not dig into that one, because
you know,
you can't be a child of God and say that is who you are.
mm,
The child of God is a transformed, renewed
mm,
person.
mm.
So you
Ish.
can't know Christ and claim that that's who you are, because you're supposed to have the DNA of your father.
Mm.
You see?
Thank you. Mm.
So
What
let's
do we
let's
do?
bring it to a close. Let's bring it to a
Yeah,
close. Closing
we'll have
word.
to find. Yeah, right. It's been a pleasure. Once again, I'm Folakemi. I'm your parenting partner. I'm here to help you through the challenges of parenting your teenagers, especially. I think they're the best set of age in the whole world. You can find me on Facebook, Folakemi Adedeji Ikuyinminu. You can find me on Instagram as well. And if you find me on Facebook, you will find the link to my private group. The group is private for a reason, so that we can trash out issues without putting it out there. So find me, connect, let's talk, and together let's make this generation the best yet. A great big thank you to Sister Funke and her husband and the whole PCC team. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you soon so that we can finish up the executive skills.
We can't rush the skills. They need to be
Okay,
learned
no
slow and
problem.
steady. Thank you,
It's
thank you,
fine.
thank
Thank
you,
you,
thank you so
sis.
much. We're so
You're
grateful.
welcome.
So you and I will catch up behind by God's
Yes,
grace. Enjoy the
yes,
rest of your night.
you
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you. God bless.
Everybody, that
Bye,
is
everybody.
bye. That's Sister Folakemi Adedeji Ikuyinminu. So everybody, thank you. I really appreciate you as always. God bless you. Um, like I said, I've been displaying all the information on the screen. So again, she has mentioned it. You can find her on Facebook, you can find her on YouTube, and you can find her on Instagram. She might not be somebody that you need or you feel you need, but you might be able to direct other people her way. There might be other people that, her services might be of use to, that, please let's uh, support one another, encourage one another, be our brother's keeper. In any way, shape, or form that we can. Some of you were not here at the beginning when I said it. One of us, that is Senior Pastor Wumi from Canada, lost her mom. If you can, on Instagram or Facebook, please kindly leave a message. You all know what it means to lose your mom. So, well, not all of us. Some of us still have our mothers, but some of us, we know what that feels like. So if you can, please, I would say, let's do a PCC family love and show her all the love at this very hard time for the family. Okay, so as always, everybody, we have come to the end of another session. Tomorrow evening, by God's grace, uh, uh, um, um, Bishop is going to be with us. So We look forward to having Bishop. So until then, everybody, I want to say thank you. God bless you. Really appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you if the Lord tarries. So until then, I'm leaving you in the most capable hands of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Have a wonderful day, morning, or night, wherever you are. Take care. God bless you all. See you.